And Smitty can attest to this. We had to guard him, 35 to 40 minutes a game. And he was the Shaq of shooting guards because there's no way you were going to move him off the post. He was cat quick, and on top of that, he was going to embarrass you in front of your family and friends. So having said all that, if I'm starting a franchise, not only do I want to put people in the seats, because Michael will do that, but his skill level was so far ahead of everyone else, I'm going with MJ.
You just mentioned MJ, and MJ has, often called you like one of the toughest shooting guards he had to defend.
Right.
What was it like going against MJ?
First time seeing, I watched him in college, but I was in JUCO at the time, but first time actually seeing him live in front of you, he was cat quick.
And really?
Yeah.
At that size?
He was cat quick, and he had the ability to take one dribble and you try to get there, and he was in the air already. So, you had to do a lot of freaking film work on him because he had every move.
Right.
And he can get by you with one step, and once he get by you, he's taking flight. But one thing, he was gonna come at you each and every night. And Kobe had that same thing that, and I think all the great ones have it, that they're thirsty to score. Like, it's like, I gotta get it. I gotta get that bucket. And the defenders be like, God damn, this dude is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have that mentality.
There's been a lot of debate about, who's the greatest of all time. Obviously, a lot of people, they just overlook what Kobe has done. And, obviously, LeBron is great in his own right. Do you consider MJ the GOAT?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course, yeah. I went up against him each and every night.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
And then you played with Kobe at the Lakers.
I played with Kobe, and Kobe was, he's in that level, no question about it. But Mike changed the game in so many other ways, not only on the court.
But we couldn't stop Jordan. I'm looking at the highlights of Jordan, and every single time we double teamed Jordan down court, but he still averaged his regular season average against the Pistons was 37.5.
Good grief.
And then some nights he would get hot, Q.
Man, that ain't hot.
On a bad night, right? We was double teaming him every single time. I'm talking about Jordan.
Right.
He gave us 60, 63. He was just unbelievable. So I couldn't say that he was my toughest to guard, because we was all guarding him.
Right.
And when we wasn't guarding him, he may have gotten 100. Literally. That he was.
What do you think Jordan will average? Where do you think he would fit in?
He can adapt his game to anything. He would fit in as the best player in the league. Like, that's what he would be. And, I feel like he'll have more possessions to do more things, but there's also more athleticism in his game, and there's more length in his game, but, it's also more space for MJ to go to work. So, we'll never know, but for sure, he's a masterful basketball player, like we've been saying. His skill level is unmatched. So.
And you take away his car, and hopefully he doesn't get his wake-up call to make it to the arena. But a player with Michael Jordan caliber, he is almost unstoppable at this time of the year.
Canny ability to be able to create shots and hang in the air, and he's a warrior, he's competitive. There's just nobody like him. I think he's the most outstanding player in the game.
Gotta find a way to stop that fadeaway.
You go in there thinking you're going to stop Michael Jordan, you're going to be in for a long night.
You got to pray and hope that he misses a lot of shots.
Fire time by Michael Jordan.
He gets the ball real easily and real quick, and he spins and turns. And once he's hitting that shot so well like he's doing now, it frustrates you a lot.
He gets so high in the air right there, he's fading. Not even George Marathon can get to, and George is 7'7".
In the past, physically, he just dominates you so much. Now he sets you up better. He lures you better.
He has that killer instinct, and that's what makes him so deadly.
When Michael Jordan gets down low, I don't care who's playing him, he's almost impossible one-on-one to stop.
In terms, it's easier to move the ball around and hope that someone's going to make this defense pay.
During the Jordan rules, they weren't running the triangle offense, and what the triangle offense did was it does not allow you to double him as much because there's constant movement now. That's why I think he's still as great as ever, because you have to play him one-on-one most of the time now.
I was a jump shot shooter, but I never had to rely upon that skill because I could get to the basket. But now the defenses are collapsing as Detroit did for years. So I got to stop and pull up. I got to utilize the jump shot. I got to take what the defense gives me. I'm not going to go against the grain.
I know what you're going to say. Kobe, Michael.
Well, this is an interesting situation because about 2000, I had the team, was still probably 99 when I'm coaching the Lakers. Michael's out. He's been retired for a year. And he comes to a ball game, and I said, let's meet in, chairman's room after the game. I want you to talk to Kobe a little bit. He tends to take over a game, at a certain time in the game. And I think that, if you convince him to just wait, just be patient, allow the game to kind of come to him when it's necessary for him to do some things, because the team kind of loses their offensive direction. So I get in this room, and he sits down, and he goes, first thing Kobe says is, I could kick your ass one-on-one.
But not even letting him get anything
There's
out.
no conversation.
What did Michael say back?
You might.
You might?
Just
He
might.
said you
He
might?
Yeah, he said, I've been on the game a couple years. You just might.
So who wins if you have to pick?
No, it's going to be MJ. He's got that hand. He's got the glove, as the glove used to be known. But when a guy can pick the ball up with one hand when he's dribbling like Michael could do, and do that and take the ball to the basket, it's very difficult.
Michael Jordan is like, for basketball for me, he's the end-all be-all. Like, he's the best player I've ever seen. I believe he's the best player I'll ever see. I believe he'll be the best player a million years from now. I really believe that. I believe he is the best ever.
Start with Michael Jordan. I mean, obviously, look, he's going to have some success against everybody, but as we watch some highlights here, take us through what's the approach? What are you trying to do? What are you thinking about with Michael Jordan across the way?
Well, first of all, I'm really nervous about these highlights because those are the three of the best players in the history of the game. But Michael Jordan, I did guard him a little bit when I was in Detroit. And, of course, I guarded Scottie a lot. But he was so efficient, was able to get what he wanted, and he did. Most of his domination was in that mid-post area.
Oh, watch out, you hear?
He got the shot that he wanted, whether it was from mid-range.
Can we show some misses?
I mean,
look like Mike was working you over in them highlights.
They didn't get me. I got him on the other end, you know what I'm saying? But Michael was so great, and what I loved about Michael, he just was efficient. He got the shot he wanted. Whatever you threw at him, he had a counter. He really didn't have a weakness in the mid-post and in the mid-range.
I really like Michael Jordan, and he and I are friendly. And he never changes. He just doesn't change. He's the same guy all the time. And I still see him every once in a while. And this guy has done more spectacular things than any basketball player I've ever seen.
I agree.
I mean,
that's Jerry. That is saying a lot.
I agree.
Considering
I've ever seen.
You've seen a lot.
I know. I mean, just to go, like I said, we've worked backwards, obviously, from where he is now to where you were as a player. That speaks volumes. Especially, I mean, number of years with the Lakers, player, visor. I mean,
you know, Terrell, the thing that people don't realize is some of the stuff he could do. He was the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
When he was playing,
absolutely.
He was the best offensive.
He was just one of those players that just didn't have any weaknesses in his game. You know, when he first probably came in the league, you know, everybody talking about he wasn't a good outside shooter. He became a good outside shooter. Everybody talked about he couldn't shoot the three-point shot. He became a decent three-point shooter. You know, down low. Didn't have a post-up game, develop a post-up game. They say he wasn't truly a good ball handler.
Yeah.
Became a good ball handler. Defensively, he was just incredible on that end of the court. And so, but he's probably, I think what separated him from everybody is that his mind. You know what I mean? He was probably one of the most, I want to say, well, not brilliant, but probably one of the most intellectual basketball players that I didn't play against. You know, he's always thinking the game. He's always thinking ahead, and you could just see. And his mind is always working. You know what I mean? And I would say this: he probably was the best fundamentally sound superstar that I didn't played against. You know, from the standpoint of he didn't do a lot. He just got the spots on the court. You know what I mean? It's just like a surgeon. He just get over here. I want to get a shot there. Pump fake you, take 1 or 2 dribbles. I'm gonna get to that spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you never see him, hardly see him take a bad shot.
Right.
You know, always on balance. He was just fundamentally sound. I think that's why the game was so easy to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he took that fundamentals that he had and put it with the athleticism and the mind that he had, and the game looked simple.
Right.
Real simple to him.
Right. He made it look real
Yeah,
easy.
but it was very hard.
Right.
It was very hard to go out there and score 30-plus points a night,
Right.
you know, in the NBA back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where
and
the
still
game
be asked
was
to guard the toughest guy.
Yeah, when the game was physical and you can, you know, really get into your guy and put your hands on them, and you know, the fear of them coming down the lane against us, you know, back whatever game you playing against, you know, it was just totally different.